Welcome to General College Biology with a lab, or Bio 111, taught here at Colorado Community Colleges Online, or CCC Online. I'm Aaron Shoulders, your instructor of the course for this semester. Now, what you are looking at and what you're listening to right now is hopefully going to accomplish two primary purposes. The first primary purpose that I want to accomplish with this recording is to introduce you to myself. I'm really convicted and believe strongly that the best learning environment is one in which you, the student, are going to feel connected with me, the instructor, and also your other students. We're going to be interacting with each other a lot in discussion forums throughout the semester, and I think it's best if you know a little bit about me and you know a little bit about your fellow students. So I want to go ahead and reach out virtually and say hello. Okay, so, and hopefully this creates an environment that is conducive to your learning. Right? The second thing that I want to do is try and get you introduced to the course and hopefully head off some of those questions that are pretty common in the very first days of this course. Bio 111 is not an easy course. And it's not an easy course, especially when you take it online. Some of you might be taking this class as your first online class ever, and that can be a little bit intimidating. So I want to hopefully answer some of your questions as we move on through this recording. Now, I'm going to say two things. The first thing is that you're not going to remember everything in this recording. There's just no way for you to remember everything. Okay? So don't stress out and think, I got to remember everything he says. Now, that's number one. Number two, because you're not going to remember everything, I will communicate with you about 4 to 5 times a week through announcements. And what that means is that every time you log into the class, I want you to look at the announcements, okay? Right now, hopefully you found welcome videos, do this first. And you clicked on Bio 111 welcome video, and that's how you got here. I put the same link in my introduction in my discussion questions, so maybe you found it there, all right? Either way, though, you want to look at these announcements. Now, there are more announcements. There's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. So there's all these another, and you can go to this, show all announcements. All of them are, there's only 4 of them right now, but in the middle of the semester, there's going to be a lot more of them because I'll announce 3 or 4 announcements a week. Okay, so that's the two things that I want to just right off the bat say. Make sure that you, well, first of all, you're not going to remember everything, and secondly, make sure that you read all the announcements every time you log into the class, okay? Okay, let me introduce myself. I already said my name, Aaron Shoulders. Some of you are thinking to yourself, is he Mr. Shoulders? Is he Dr. Shoulders? Is he Professor Shoulders? What is he? And the answer to that question actually is you could call me Dr. Shoulders or Professor Shoulders if you like. I have a PhD, and I received that PhD in 2006 from the Department of Biochemistry at Colorado State University. Right, I've been teaching this class, this biology class, since, I don't know. Let's just say it's been probably 10 years that I've been teaching this class. So I've been around for a while teaching this class, okay? So Dr. Shoulders works, okay? Now, some of you are thinking, okay, Dr. Shoulders, that's great. But I want to encourage those of you who are a little bit more brave, a little bit more daring, to call me Captain America. I've been trying to convince students of this for a long time. Captain America has a classic ring to it, right? In fact, let's just shorten it. You can call me Cap. Cap is so much easier to write in an email or a discussion forum. It's so much easier to spell than like Dr. Shoulders, especially since my last name, if you'll notice here, is Shoulders without the U. That's strange. How many times have I told people, oh, it's just like the body part but with no U? I mean, I've said that so many times, uncountable number of times in my life. Okay, so Cap though, Cap's super awesome, okay? All right, so Cap it is, all right? Now, that doesn't tell you a lot about who I am, to be honest with you, other than maybe I like a good laugh, which is true. I think sense of humor is very good, especially in the environment that we're living in today and the classes that you're going through right now. I think the humor is something that you got to have as vital coping mechanism. So that's true about me. Okay, and I obviously like Marvel Comics, which is also true of me. Okay, but what else should you know about me? So let me say this. If I were to die today, I would want you to remember me as, you can answer that question, you know a lot about me and how I make my decisions. And the answer to that question is, I would want you to remember me as a Christian, a disciple of Jesus Christ, someone who loves Jesus Christ dearly, and I do. I consider him my Savior, and my God, and my friend at his invitation. Right? And I am deeply convicted of the central truths of the Christian faith, specifically that there is a God, and that God did create, and that he created in perfection, but mankind rebelled against him, introducing the totality of human and animal suffering. But God sees our predicament, and he's a loving God and wants to save us from that. And the cornerstone of that salvation plan is his Son, Jesus Christ, who came to this earth, who died on a cross, who rose from the dead, who ascended to heaven, and is coming again to set things right. I believe those things for very personal reasons, obviously, but I also see evidence for them in things like philosophy and theology and history, and yes, even the sciences. So that's a lot of who I am. I'm a Christian, right? Now, another facet of information that you might want to know about me is that I have a family. Okay, so in 1999, I took the opportunity to ask my best friend to marry me, and she said yes, and I have never regretted being married to Becky, who of course is right here. She is the love of my life and truly my best friend. Right now, in 2001, we started to have children, started our family, and these 3 boys are our family. Okay, so Isaiah right here in the cap and gown, we celebrated his high school graduation in July. Of course, this is a strange year, so we had to celebrate it in July. And this is a picture just before his graduation ceremony. He's left the house. I can't believe it, but he's left the house, okay? And we miss him, okay? But he's 19 years old, and he's starting off in his own life. He's got a good direction, okay? And then we've got Ian over here in the gray shirt. Ian is a junior at Poudre High School. Okay, he's 16. He's driving, which means the streets in Fort Collins are not safe. It's a joke. He's a pretty good driver, but you get the idea as a parent. This is a little bit nerve-wracking. And then finally, our youngest kid, Simon, 12 years old, just started 7th grade at Wellington Middle School. Okay, so that's a little bit about who I am. Now, I will say this one more thing. I'm a sports fan, in particular baseball fan. I really like the Rockies. In fact, I've had the unfortunate distinction to be referred to as a Rockies fan since 1993. Unfortunate because they lose a lot. But anyway, so I enjoy sports and baseball in particular. In fact, as pathetic as it is, I have a fantasy baseball team who's not doing great, and quite honestly, the Rockies aren't doing great right now either. But nonetheless, I enjoy baseball. So, okay, all right. Now, let me come here and let's go through the class, and I just want to familiarize you with the class and the assignments. Okay, I already mentioned the announcements. Okay, so let me scroll down here and go to this announcement. Okay, and I'm of course going to ask you to read this, but I will post every Monday a Module 1, Week 1 type announcement. Next week it'll say Module 1, Week 2, and then it'll be Module 1, Week 3, and then it'll be Module 2, Week 4. You get the idea. Okay, and I will have an introduction to the week, and then I will have all of these things. Okay, other announcements, make sure you see this. Reading, make sure you do this. Okay, discussion forums, labs, and then exploring reports. Okay, now this brings me to, and I'm going to just say this right off the bat, the assignments that are found in the class. First of all, content is delivered through this book, so you'll have reading assignments. Okay. In the ebook, and I'll show you where to find that. And there will also be these exploration pages. Okay, the content is broken up into 5 different modules. Okay, module 1 through 5, and each module will have a different reading assignment and a different exploration page. I'll show you where to find that. I set due dates for reading assignments. However, there is nothing to turn in or hand in, as it says here, for those reading assignments. But you won't do very well in the class, and you certainly won't do very well in the exams if you're not reading and watching these exploration pages. So very important that you do those. Okay. The next type of assignment is discussion forums. We will be doing a total of 10 discussion forums over the next 15 weeks. Okay. So obviously that's essentially a discussion forum 2 out of every 3 weeks, which is how they're arranged. Okay. The discussion forums will always have this. The first one of the module will say ask questions and construct a hypothesis, and then it'll say something. Okay. And so that's one of the assignments that you're going to have to do pretty much every week. Okay. Every 3rd week we don't have one. Okay. The next set of assignments are going to be lab assignments. Okay. And there are 2 different types of lab assignments that you're going to be doing in this class. One of them is what we call lab kit labs. Okay, and you're going to be receiving a lab kit in the mail. Okay, you should have seen a pop-up window, by the way, that was asking you for your address as to where we should send the lab kit. Okay, make sure you fill that out. Don't not fill that out. It's very important that you do that. And then after the census date, 2 weeks into the class, the lab kits will be ordered and they'll be sent to your house. Okay, or the address that you ask them to send it to, and then you'll be doing labs. Really starting in Module 2. Okay, we don't have any lab kit labs for them. The other type of labs are interactive labs, and the interactive labs don't have a lab kit. You can do all of those completely virtual. Okay, and we have one of those for Module 1. Okay, and then the next type of assignment are explore reports. These are kind of there's one explore report for Modules 1, 2, 4, and 5, and then there's 2 of them for Module 3. Okay, so a total of 6 of them. And they're kind of the summation of the entire module. Okay, so very important assignments, and most students find that these assignments are probably the best part of the class, and I agree. I think they're really good. Okay, and I'll be making announcements when those are due. Okay, and then finally there's a midterm and a final exam. Okay, and I'll show you where to find those things. Okay, so each week I'll be telling you what's due and when it's due. Okay. All right, and then make sure you do, and I'm going to say this, I'll come all the way down here, okay? So make sure that you know that the instructor information right here, here's my email address, here's my name, okay? And then I want you to go ahead and read this, okay? Now, this is going to say, okay, well, let's get started. Click on Content Navbar under CCC Online and begin by reading Day 1 checklist, okay? So what it's saying is this, okay? Navbar, what is that? Well, this is the Navbar right here. Okay, and this is the CCC Online banner right here. Okay, so if I click on content, this is where you're going to find most of those assignments that I mentioned. Then click on content, okay, and it's going to take you here, and you'll see a start here, a syllabus, here's the e-text, okay, and then here are the modules, okay, like I was mentioning, Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, all the way to 5, okay. Now, let me just real quickly go to Module 1 and show you the reading assignments. So if you click on Read and View, take me here. This is Biology Chapters 1 through 3. Click on it and you can read that as in a PDF document. Okay, and that's the reading for that particular module. There is the exploration page. In this case, it's the exploration of chemistry and what's in my lunchbox. If you click on that, we'll go here. It'll have all this stuff here. Click to open this, and you'll want to do this, right? And you'll want to do all of this, okay? And so that's how the content is going to be given to you, okay? Now, I can come back up here and go to the content page, or I can just go here, go to Table of Contents, and that'll take me back to the same place, okay? All right, so now each module has, right, a read and view. Right, so Biology Chapter 4 through 5 and 9.1 through 9.3 and the exploration of why isn't my antibiotic working. Okay, you get the idea. Now, in each of these then there will also be the assignments. So let me go ahead and click on this. Okay, we have discussion, the explore, and the reports, and the labs. Okay, and you can get to the discussions by clicking on these. Okay, here's the discussion that I was talking about. We ask question, construct a hypothesis. How does my antibiotic work? Second discussion will be drawing conclusion. My antibiotic isn't working because. Okay, so those are the 2 types of discussions: ask questions, construct hypothesis, and then drawing conclusions to the next one, and they'll be different for each module. Okay, so that's the structure of the course. Okay, and then we have the explore and report assignments that I've already mentioned to you. Okay, and then of course the lab kits that I've also mentioned to you. Here's an interactive lab. The interactive lab, if I'll go ahead and click on it, okay. This does not need to be done with the kit. It can all be done virtually. You read all these instructions and you say engage in the interactive lab. Okay, And then it'll take you here, and I can click on that, or I can click on that, and that's how I do it, and it'll give you a set of questions and things to work through. And it'll tell you you'll want to do that, okay? All right, so now, again, I can come back here and go to table of contents, or I just go directly back to module 2, okay, and that will take me to that page. And this tells you what's complete after you start turning things in and after you've read and all that wonderful stuff, okay? All right. And then, of course, the other labs are the lab kit labs, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to say this. The lab kit labs, I have a completely different recording for the lab kit labs that I will post at some point in time later this semester as you start to approach those, okay? I don't want to do it right now because, honestly, you're going to forget a lot of things I say, okay? So I'll put that at a more germane time when you're ready to do the lab kit labs, okay? All right. Now, coming back here, let's just do this. Start here, right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Just go through, right? Mandatory day 1 checklist. Go ahead and open it, okay? And on you go. Now, you can just click next, okay, and it will take you to the next page, okay? And that's another way to navigate through this. Or you can come back here, okay? And you can come through here. Now, I will say this, okay? There's going to be a lot of reading in the class, okay? That's the nature of the online course. So prepare yourself to read a lot. There's a lot of instructions, and it's really important that you read those instructions, okay? Now, finally, I want to show you the syllabus, okay? In the syllabus, we have course information, okay? So read through this, okay? And you keep going on, and, you know, right, we go here, on to the next things, and talks about course materials. Now, while we're in course materials, I'm going to hyper-focus you on this. You have to get a microscope for this class. You think, great, the microscope will come with my lab kit. Actually, no, it doesn't. Strangely, they don't put a microscope in it, but they require that you use a microscope, okay? So you're going to have to buy one. Most students find them on Amazon. You probably get a microscope between $75 to $100 that would be sufficient quality for this class, okay? If you plan on going to do other coursework at CCC Online that is in the sciences, like anatomy and human physiology, you'll need a microscope for those as well. You might want to get a more quality one, $150 to $200 one, okay? So it's really up to you. I would avoid the kiddie microscopes, right, that come in the $20 set. Those are not going to really work very well, okay? All right, so so you just keep going through this, and let me go back to the syllabus. I want to show you one more thing, okay, that I think is really important that I show you, and that would be the course schedule, okay? So like I said, every week I'm going to post, this is what's due, these are the important dates, but you can also keep track of these things by looking at the course schedule, okay? So here are the module 1s, here are all the assignments when they're due. Here's module 2, all the assignments when they're due, okay? And that's in the schedule, which is in the syllabus, okay? Okay, now, quite honestly, I think that is sufficient. I don't think that I can remember anything else to say to you at this time. Remember, I'm gonna be making announcements 3 to 4 a week. Make sure every time you log into the class, you look at those announcements, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, on things that you didn't remember from this or won't remember from this, those announcements will save you, okay? For instance, the labs, I have some more recordings of myself going over those labs, and I'll make sure that I post those at the time that you need them, okay? Okay, I believe that is all I need to say. Make sure that you are reading through the instructions, carefully reading through the instructions, of course, reading the content and engaging the material. I can say this, all right? There's a lot to do, but I have found that students that complete all their assignments to the best of their ability usually get a grade that they can be satisfied with, okay? Okay, I'm not going to guarantee that for anyone. Of course, I can't guarantee that, but I will say that most students that are diligent about doing the work and getting it in on time, okay, pass the class and do well in the class. I will say this, that you get behind, and it's going to be hard, okay? It's going to be really hard to get caught up, and your grade is going to suffer because of that, all right? Now, I'm here to help you out. I want to help you out. I want you to succeed in this class. So by all means, please feel free to contact me using this mail tool. And give me a contact through email, and we can figure out your problems, okay? Or you saw all the way down here, Here's my email. If you want to send it from your external account to this email address, by all means do that. Okay, I'm really looking forward to this semester. By the way, I will say this. Come back up here. Some of you thinking, I'm not in Bio 111 section B. I'm in section H, or I'm in section M. Well, I teach 3 different sections. Okay, so I only make the recording for in section B, but this is applicable in section H and M. Okay. By the way, that's an overload, work overload for me. It's 3 sections. There's a lot of students, as you might imagine, in our COVID world that are taking online courses. Okay, so I'm going to be very busy this semester. Okay, I'm going to ask that you have some patience with me, because I'm going to be working as hard as I can to respond to discussion forums and to get things graded and respond to your emails. But there might be times where I just get, just overloaded with things to do. So, okay, but I'll be as diligent as I can in getting those things to you, especially responses to emails. Okay, all right. So take care. I'm looking forward to this semester. Please do not hesitate to contact me.